Yes! Yes! Yes!
Welcome back to What You Will Learn. My name is Adam Ashton.
G'day, my name is Adam Jones. Today we are reviewing, as we mentioned last week,
As promised.
Elon Musk by Ashlee Vance. Yeah, the billionaire CEO of SpaceX and Tesla is shaping our future.
That's it. What a character.
Yeah.
What a character, the old Musk. As a brief overview, I've got to be honest. There's 11 chapters. I only finished chapter 9. So hopefully you've got a bit more.
Yeah.
What did you think?
That's all right. I was a huge fan. Like, I don't think you were a fan of the writing style. Like, it's a huge book.
Yeah, it's big.
And a lot of the stuff you could probably get in a 20-minute YouTube video about his story. But
Yeah.
a lot of the fat kind of just tries to like build the story behind Elon Musk, who is just a crazy motherfucker, but how he ended up to be like he is, and ended up achieving these ridiculous goals.
Yeah, that's mate. Honestly, I would rather watch a 2-hour doco of this book.
Yeah.
And that's probably I would in most cases. I think biographies. I'd rather watch a doco about it.
Or listen to a podcast on it.
Or listen to a potty on it. Yeah, that's it. But I reckon, mate, it's fucking incredible the shit he's done and doing.
Yeah.
And his story's amazing. What an absolute freak of nature.
Yeah, exactly. I've never came across a story of someone or heard of someone with this kind of vision. It's like he's hacked the human code. Like he does things that he seems like an absolute nut job from the outset. And people think he's like, should we send this guy to the mental ward or something?
Yeah.
And then he actually goes off, does it, works for 23 hours a day, like a fucking nut job, and ends up getting crazy shit done.
I think that's the thing. He's built his first couple of companies and sold them, and then his 3 ones now that have each made $1 billion each.
Yeah.
If he didn't make $1 billion, he would be in a mental institution.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Fucking right. Yeah,
like, this stuff's crazy.
If they failed at the start, he would have been see you later. So yeah, the companies you're referring to, we'll delve into it a bit deeper later.
Yeah.
But just as a summary, he started Zip2 first when he was really young.
Yep.
Which is like putting kind of businesses on Google kind of thing.
Was that with his brother as
Yeah.
well? Yeah.
So yeah, we might as well go into that actually. So that he started out when he was young. So that was started the .com mania of 1995 with his brother.
Yep.
And yeah, Zip2 they saw as an opportunity to put businesses online. So at the time, a lot of the businesses around didn't have the vision or understand the power of the internet. But this is visionary Elon Musk. He really saw the opportunities in it. So they sold door to door to companies.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and everyone's saying no, fuck off, no, fuck off, no, fuck off. But yeah, it
was sort of like an online Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously very, very, very early on. And they said now it's basically like it was a bit of Google Maps, and that's they started sort of building maps and stuff, but obviously because it was so early, they sort of got out of it earlier on. But they were saying like all the stuff that they were planning to do has been done and like made people very rich, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's coming back to that amazing vision.
Yeah. So yeah, after growing that, he got Zip2, he sold that.
Yep.
And then
how much did you get?
He made 20 mil.
Yeah, something. I heard something like that. Yeah.
So through a lot of heartache, so they went through the dip, as we mentioned last week. And he musked through it.
He musked through the dip. Yeah, nice.
And then he took, rather than like a lot of people would take that money and he invests a little bit, but like the smartest investor and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, fuck that.
He took all the money, went to the bigger table, the poker table. So if you're playing poker crown for the 1-2 table, he went straight to the 2-3 with all his money. Yeah, so if you guys don't know that, it's me and Ashton. We play a bit of Texas Hold'em with crown every now and then. But yeah, took it to the 2-3. Started something called X.com, which is later now known as PayPal.
Yeah, so it was basically it was online. Basically, he worked at a bank. He interned at a bank, and he was like, he said that that bankers are all rich and dumb, and he saw this massive opportunity where banks are just. He just thought banks are stupid, basically, and he's like, why are you doing it this way? And why are people trusting banks? And why are people doing it through the banks? So he thought he could do an online version where people could pay each other, and you could pay someone to their email address, basically.
Yeah.
And he started building that up. And am I right in saying at the same time, Peter Thiel and a few other guys were building PayPal up, and they ended up merging together?
Yeah, exactly. So then Peter Thiel, and so there's a lot of like hardcore entrepreneurs of Silicon Valley who were part of this merger, and and a lot of good companies grew from that. And so like one of the employees said a lot of them work 20 hours a day, which people thought, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Elon was working 23 hours. And so he'd work through the night, and he'd tell one of the rules was the first employee to tell them to kick Elon when he was sleeping.
The first one. So
he could keep going. But before we move into the next part of the story, should we maybe delve into a bit of his childhood?
Yep, definitely. Take a set. Just on PayPal as well, he didn't go into it too much here.
Yeah.
In Peter Thiel's book 0 to 1, which we might do at some point, they talk a lot about it, and some of the people that have come out of PayPal are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like we've got from PayPal. Actually, I reckon it's worth doing the 0 to 1 by itself. But the top 6 guys at PayPal have all made crazy stuff after they sold out. Like Elon, who's made 3 different billion-dollar companies, but then you've got a whole bunch of other things as well.
It's back to that thing of the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Yeah. So these guys must have been in this weird bubble of just crazy ideas, crazy thinking, anything's possible, and then they went off, and after PayPal, they actually, they
all did their own thing and went gangbusters, all of them individually.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go back to, he was from South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was just about to do a South African accent, but I didn't want to embarrass myself.
Nah, fuck no.
Can't do it. No, I wouldn't want to embarrass myself. I have to get my mate on who does a good South African accent.
Is he from South Africa?
No, he's not. But we used to, back in the days of trying to pick up chicks, we used to do around the world. So each different week he'd try and pretend you were someone from a different country. And so he's always Rex from South Africa, and he did it very well.
I used to do Adam from Northshire. So I'm going a bit off topic here. One night I don't know if I should be saying this, got picked up like a bit of an older chick during schoolies, and I woke up and I forgot I was being English. Adam from Northshire all night, so I woke up and accidentally went back to the Aussie accent. Then I got busted in the morning, and then driven home in a convertible. So it was very. We'll go back to
that's good. I'm getting to hear more about that.
Yeah, maybe off there a little bit. I should bring that shit up.
No, but
good. So he grew up in apartheid.
Yeah.
In Africa, some very hard times, and he didn't have a good childhood at all. So.
No, he didn't. He was obviously he was a absolute genius, like crazy kid, but because he was so different, and he got bullied, absolutely bullied, didn't he?
Yeah.
I remember, there was a gang that just grabbed him and threw him down the stairs and fucking slammed his head into the ground. Yeah. Absolutely bashed the shit out of him, basically. Yeah.
And they even beat up. So Elon had another one of his, what he called his best mate at the time. So they beat up his best mate for hanging out with Elon.
Yeah, and said don't be mates with him.
So no one wanted to hang out with Elon, and also it covers in the book was very clear that his dad, they had a very poor relationship with the dad.
Yeah.
The dad it sounded like he did some fucked up.
Yeah, they didn't go into it too much, but they said that. So Elon's got kids now, and he said that him and the kids' mothers have decided that they're never going to meet Elon's dad.
Yeah.
So that must be pretty bad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they all said it's their childhood like built them into who they are today.
Yeah.
All that pain.
Yeah, for sure.
That misery. It was all worth it, and and we probably wouldn't have SpaceX and Tesla if it wasn't for the dad, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
So but Elon's dad.
Yeah, you can tell even from when he was a kid that he was different in a good way. So it said by the middle of his teenage years, Musk had blended fantasy and reality to the point that they were hard to separate in his mind. Just the things that he imagined could be possible and should be possible, that he later came to fruition, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But then he said he was always reading. He went to the library. He was good mates with the librarian, and she got him books and stuff. And when he'd finished, he was sick of the fiction. He started reading the Encyclopedia Britannica, and he just learnt it all.
Yeah, it's crazy. And one of his biggest influences was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. So what he learnt there was really tough part about everything is to finding the right questions to ask. And once you know the right questions, then the answers are for him relatively easily.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah, that's it. The answers are the easy part. Finding the right questions to answer is the hard part. You read it? Hitchhiker's Guide?
No, I haven't.
I think there's a movie, but it's pretty shit, I've heard.
Yeah.
But mate, worth
probably
read,
easier than powering through a 2-hour book, I'd say. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, from there he moves on to Canada.
Yeah. So he wanted to get to the US, but he thought the easiest way to get there was through Canada, and he had an uncle in Canada. He had some family there, so he just booked a one-way ticket, flew there, called up his uncle, said I'm here, and didn't get an answer or something. He called his mum back in South Africa, and she's like, "Oh, I think he's gone. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Yeah.
He just disappeared, didn't he?"
Yeah. So he got to Canada, and one of the first things he did was find the highest paying work he could do for the little skills he had at the time, and that was working in a boiler room. So some incredibly hard work. Where he earned like $35 an hour or whatever. But yeah, it started off with 20 people starting out for the job, and then ended up with like Elon and one other dude or something.
Really? Mate, it was crazy. But some of it, so we talked about Zip2 briefly. He did some funny stuff. Like they said, when they wanted a bit of money from investors, he said they'd built this thing because it was real early. Like there weren't too many computers around, so they wheeled out this setup on a big tray and a big computer. So they were like, "Oh yeah, we're running Zip2 through this massive supercomputer," and they were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
They'd never seen anything like it before. Yeah. But got some money. But I think we talked about Zip2 and PayPal. So he sold when they merged his X.com, PayPal. Anyway, eventually PayPal ended up selling to eBay. Musk was the biggest shareholder of that, and he got about 250 mil. I think after tax it was 180.
Yeah.
So we got 180 mil, and what, as most people probably do, is maybe invest it or play it safe. That's a lot of money. Yeah. That's enough to get you through the next 60 years of your life.
Oh, easy.
And the second option might be saying to, getting a new business idea and saying, "Hey, I built up PayPal. I just made 180 mil. Do you want to invest with me?" Instead, he just used his own money, and I think I read he put 100 mil into SpaceX, 70 mil into Tesla, and 10 mil into Solar City.
Yeah,
and that's it. He wasn't resting on it, and so he dumped all his money into these 3 new companies.
Yeah,
and just tried to musk it out.
Yeah, musk through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, after he sold PayPal, he went straight onto his next venture was SpaceX.
Yeah.
That was his one directly after.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was around this time when everyone's thinking, "Fuck, Elon, you've lost the plot, mate."
Yeah. You've got 180 million, you just dumped it into.
And you're talking about going to Mars.
Yeah.
You've got 180 mil. You're talking, and NASA, not even NASA wants to go to Mars at this stage.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing was, after the big space race of the late 60s and 70s, nothing had really progressed in terms of space exploration, and they'd already got to the moon. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
So and then nothing had happened for 50 years.
Nothing had happened. So yeah, Musk at this stage, he wanted to, that was his goal. He set the goal going, "Oh, I want to go to Mars," or whatever. Yeah. And so he went to Russia at this stage to find out these old rockets where he thought he could refurbish and rebuild into something awesome.
Yeah.
But they were saying it's too expensive.
Yeah.
It was 200 mil or whatever per flight or something huge.
Yeah.
So Elon came back, and this is how SpaceX was formed. They thought, "All right, we can build the rocket from scratch." And bear in mind, Elon at this stage, he was an incredible coder, but he didn't know much about mechanical or aeronautical engineering.
Oh, absolutely not.
Getting planes
no
in the
way.
air. But he said, "All right, fuck it."
But I think they said even his coding wasn't that good.
Yeah.
He was just self-taught. He didn't really know much of... he had no specialised skills, did he?
No.
But But yeah, sorry, mate, go on.
So yeah, they thought we could build everything from the start up, which they started doing.
Yeah, and because that's the thing, we're thinking about... America's so expensive to build stuff. It's cheaper to go to China to build it. Or he was thinking, I'll go to Russia. They've already got them there. I'll just get them and touch them up.
Yeah.
But it was too expensive, so he thought, fuck it, let's just start from scratch and build it.
Yeah.
In the middle of LA, I think their factory is.
Yeah.
For SpaceX.
So yeah, a lot of woo and his huge vision allowed him to attract some of the best engineers at the time. So a lot of the younger guys, rather than going to Boeing and your NASA's or whatever, they'd rather go and work for less with this crazy Elon Musk who had compelling visions for humanity in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so it was around this time also that Elon invested a lot of his money, he didn't necessarily start Tesla, but was very responsible for it in the early days.
Yeah, I thought he was the founder, but I think there was two guys that started it.
Yep.
And they met Elon. Elon was like the first investor, but he dumped a lot of money into it.
Yep.
And became a co-founder essentially.
Yeah. So at the start, rather than they knew they had to build a really high-end vehicle and sell low volume, but for a very high price tag.
Yeah.
So they developed the Roadster, and one of them at the early days, again, it was a lot of hard work, and it was like one of the jokes of the whole industry, just like SpaceX was at these early days. It was just a joke of the aeronautics industry.
Yeah.
Just with a crazy vision, not much capital behind them, just one man vision kind of thing. So yeah, Tesla at this stage, they built up a mock of the Roadster and went around selling the idea of the electric vehicle. They had a few successes, enough to just get people investing a bit of money in, and they actually took the Roadster to Burning Man festival.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thought that was pretty funny, good insight into his character. He's just like a lot of engineers probably got a stick up their ass, I'd say, but
Yeah.
Elon's style is just very wacky.
Yeah, the other thing they said was like a lot of people were doing, they do like a press conference and a thing during the day, but later on he was doing product launches as big like Hollywood style gala events, like a big dinner, formal, and then like they just unveil their new car model and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a different way of doing things, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. But the only problem with the Roadster at the time was they were selling the car for $75,000, but then they realised for the expenses it cost $170,000 per vehicle.
To make it, yeah.
They're fucked. So basically Elon went on this rampage, and so his idea where something cost $6,500 part of the vehicle in December, Musk wanted it to cost $3,800 by April. So he had this ridiculous vision for it, put someone in charge, and if an employee didn't stick to this deadline, then he'd just fire them. He's cutthroat.
And the funniest thing was he was like he'd fire them and say, well, if you couldn't do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And so literally Musk would fire someone, and then Musk would go and do the project and deliver it.
Yeah.
And apparently like every time he just did it, even though if he didn't know anything about it, he'd go and learn from someone else and then just go and do it.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy, man.
And his style as the manager, it's a bit like the 1 minute manager style. He wouldn't say, you have to do this by Friday or you have to do this by April and cut the costs. He'd ask, can you do this?
Yeah.
And give the problem, the ownership to the employee or whatever, and let them have the problem and let them be responsible for the results.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, that worked for him. Then, early days it was it worked, but it was very tough still.
He was it sounds like he's a bloody tough manager.
Yeah.
That's for sure. He doesn't take shit. And that's the thing, because he's bloody elite, and he probably expects so much of other people. And because he works so hard, he expects all his employees to work just as hard as he does.
Yeah.
And even things like, one of his employees took a day off because he was having a kid, and so he went to the hospital. And Musk was like, "What the fuck, man? We're trying to get to Mars here, and you're taking a day off.
Get your priorities right, mate.
Sort it out." Yeah.
It's a bit different there. So at this stage, we get a picture. The Roadster's getting a lot of shit in the press. So in 2007 was a very dark time for Elon. He lost around this time in 12 months. He lost a child.
His first kid died. And then he was also getting a divorce. He was going broke.
Yeah.
GFC hit him. Basically, all his companies looked like they were going to go bust.
Yeah. SpaceX.
He was out of money.
SpaceX had 3 failed launches.
Yeah, 3 failed launches, 3 explosions. Yeah.
So everyone is at this stage still laughing at them.
Yeah.
The Roadster was doing very shit house.
Yeah, I think apparently, the show Top Gear.
Yeah.
They tested it out and they're like, yeah, it's pretty good, but it doesn't have any kind of, it could only drive 55 miles or because the batteries just weren't good enough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was named the #1 failure of 2007.
Oh.
He was going through his divorce with Riley, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And at this stage, only a few years back, he had 200 mil in the bank. And this stage, he had pretty much nothing. And he committed to putting every last cent in his last 2 companies.
Yep.
And Tesla was actually a few hours away from bankruptcy before he he kind of fraudulently raised money from investors as well at this stage, because even though he had his vision, he had his vision like he was not going to fail the whole way through, but he didn't let on. He was not necessarily very truthful with everyone at this stage either.
I think what he was looking for investors, because like literally they were literally going to go bankrupt the next day because they didn't have enough money to pay their employees, and I think he kind of bluffed basically, and he was like, "Oh, if you guys don't put in the money, I'll just chuck all my own money into it."
Yeah,
but he didn't have it, and eventually his bluff won though. They invested and it survived that day and just got through.
Yeah.
Which is bloody interesting, man. And so he's basically broke. He was staying in someone else's house.
Yeah.
And almost didn't have enough money to pay their employees. Like some of their like top employees were paying for the salaries for that week of all the lower class employees.
So yeah, pretty much game over. But then the thing that seemed to change it all is finally, I think on the fourth launch, SpaceX finally went into orbit.
Yep.
And from there, NASA called up Elon and said, "Hey, we got $1 billion contract for you.
Yeah.
You got to send the next 14 launches to the International Space Station," something along those lines.
Yeah.
And bang on, back on.
That's it. And even I'm not sure because I didn't read the chapter, but did they talk? They wouldn't have talked about the most recent Tesla stuff, would they?
No.
So most recently, Tesla they launched. So their cars are like 150 to 250k.
Yeah.
And they've just launched one that's going to be 35k.
Yeah.
But that's due to come out in like what 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But they've pre-sold a fuckload of them.
Mm.
Like, how much do they end up pre-selling? Like almost 50 billion worth of.
Just ridiculous amounts.
Yeah.
Don't think quite that much, but yeah.
I think 50 billion, like
a lot.
You had to put down $1,000 deposit.
Yeah.
And if all of those people buy the 35k, I think it works out to 50 billion.
Yeah.
Or somewhere around there. Like something ridiculous, like tens of billions.
Yeah. And the best part about the cars is you get, with the Tesla charging network, I don't know if a lot of people are aware, but they have these charging networks all over the US and they're going to come to Australia if they're not here.
Yeah, I think they're, well, because I actually test drove one, yeah? So we test drove a Tesla. And they said they've got from Melbourne to Sydney already. So it's basically like every 150 k's there's a charging spot.
Mm. Yeah.
So if you're driving from Melbourne to Sydney, every stop along the way, you just stop, charge up, keep going. So basically,
Tesla own also a gigafactory with the lithium-ion battery. So the future of energy, a lot of people are thinking, is with this technology called lithium-ion batteries that enable batteries and cars to be able to drive these distances.
Yeah.
So he has a lot of the monopoly on the lithium-ion batteries with the gigafactory. They have the infrastructure at the moment for all the electric and future electric vehicles.
Yeah.
So they're in a pretty good position at the moment.
Yeah. Would you invest in Tesla? Are they going well?
I'm no investing guru, but I have during the week.
Yeah, nice.
Chucked a few bets on them. So.
Yeah. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but
yeah,
if you want to have it, mate, they're looking good.
But yeah, so all this happened after. So from 2007 to now, he has gotten a lot done. And one of the biggest things with Elon Musk, I think the biggest takeaways from him is you, or we, or anyone listening, you can never fucking use time as an excuse, can you?
Yeah, exactly.
Because whenever you say, "Oh, I don't have enough time to do something," you got to remember Elon Musk is someone. There's someone in the world who's got the exact amount of hours in the week as you do, who's actually managed to get $3 billion companies.
Yeah.
He's got 5 kids, gone through divorces, lost kids. He's fucking lives an up and down crazy lifestyle.
Yeah. So he lives half of the week. He's still the very, very, very hands-on in Tesla and SpaceX. So he lives 3 days, he lives in LA, and then he'll get on his private jet and fly up to Silicon Valley for another 3 days. But for 4 of those days, he looks after his 5 kids. It's crazy. Yeah. It's a crazy lifestyle. And as you say, mate, if he's got the time to build 3 different companies that have all made over $1 billion,
then you've got time to go to the gym.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly.
But
mate, my criticism of the book, I found it very much a statement of facts. I wanted a bit more insight. But I think it's, thinking back now, there is pretty good insight into his character.
Yeah.
So they say, like, when he was a kid, even if he was failing some subjects in grade 4 and 5, and like all his classmates were like, well, we never expected him to be a superstar because he was smart, but he was never like killer in grades, and he never had leadership positions, and But he's just an absolute super achiever.
Yeah.
As we said, he's such a high achiever that he had sex twice and got 5 kids out of it. He had a set of twins and then a set of triplets. And they said one of the things here, like, he pisses real fast.
Yeah.
Like, one of the guys was like, he pisses for 3 seconds. Just, like, shoots it out fire hose style and he's done.
Yeah. So if you go for a piss next to Elon, he's fucking barters through, shoots it out, back to work.
Yeah. He
Absolute
said
nut job.
They said it takes 3 seconds for him to piss.
See, we're
going to have to train up.
Yeah. See, like a lot of books and people say, he's like he starts with why. He's got a very compelling goals and vision for what he wants done in the world. And because they're so compelling, maybe that's what is able to drive him to work 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
And there's no real balance there for him. It's one way of doing it. That's not for everyone. Is just having a life so way out of balance and so maniacal. But if you want to be able to achieve what he's done, then maybe it's necessary. Yeah,
he said that he said the startup life is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. So he admits that it's tough. It's not for everyone, but they even said, like, Mark Zuckerberg, who's made Facebook, is working out ways for people to click more ads and to share baby photos, whereas Musk is trying to save the human race from self-destruction, basically.
Yeah.
So when he was a kid, like, he had these visions. Yeah, he thought, well, we need better ways of storing and using energy. Earth's fucked, so we need to find a way out and, like, have multiple places where humans can live. And that's what he's done. Yeah.
And all his visions may not be linked in the short term, but in the long term, they're all linked.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's what he's done. He's gone solar city, which they harness, obviously, solar power and trying to make that as efficient as possible. He's gone and made electric cars, so he stopped using fossil fuels, and now he's getting us off planet Earth and trying to habitate. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Trying to create life on Mars.
Yeah.
Trying to get to space. But yeah, just the way he does it is crazy. Like, we were saying that the space industry hasn't changed in 50 years. But so now he's trying to get reusable stuff to bring the cost way down. So when a rocket shoots off, it lands nice and safely so they can reuse it again.
Yeah, in a couple of hours.
Yeah, and it was almost modular, some of the designs. Like, they've got this one fucking rocket propeller.
Yeah.
But they've got a version where they made the 5 different things on one rocket. I don't know enough about it, man. But then they've made one that was like the octagon, where they had 9 different ones, 8 around the edge and 1 in the middle, and it was just all the same thing, just all these different.
Crazy.
Crazy character.
Also, the Powerwall, another thing that I think is going to be huge in the future, is getting us off dirty fuels. Is having, like, microgrids. So with the Powerwall, you can actually use your solar, so your solar city solar panels. Link it up with the Tesla Powerwall, where you can store the energy for the day and you don't have to take energy from the grid. And you can, at the moment, it's probably more expensive than getting energy off the grid, but as time goes and the batteries develop, then it eventually will hopefully be cheaper.
Phenomenal.
So 100% clean energy is possible soon with Elon's vision. So things like that, I think could potentially be the most important person in history.
Yeah,
and it's an example where capitalism can be incredible. And
awesome. Absolutely. Like, they were the first private company to get into space. Like, normally countries launched rockets into space, and now he's built a company where they, from scratch, built rockets that went into space and are now going to Mars. It's crazy, bloody crazy.
So,
mate, if he, that's the thing. He doesn't really care that much about money. No. He just cares about getting off planet Earth and, like, making things better. If he wanted to just do this purely for profit, he could be a trillionaire, the first trillionaire, easily.
Probably the most impressive thing about Elon, or one of amongst many, is when he released the patents for all the technology in Tesla, because they built such. Well, we covered the dip last week. There'd be such a huge dip for all the other car makers to get where Elon Musk got Tesla and electric vehicles, and rather than letting them figure out themselves, he released all the patents and let them have access to all to his technology. Because his goal isn't for Tesla to become rich. His goal is for all of us to move to electric vehicles and get off our addiction to oil
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
future.
Anyone, I guess, has got the ability to go and see what Tesla's doing and use their shit, basically.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is what I like the best. They said, what truly stood out, though, was Musk's ability to master difficult physics concepts in the midst of actual business plans. So they're saying that even from early on, he showed an unusual knack for being able to perceive a path from scientific advance to for-profit enterprise.
Yeah.
So he's got the best of both worlds, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's not just burning money and doing it. He's not just doing it for the sake of doing it. He's making money and using that money to improve constantly.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy motherfucking.
Crazy motherfucker.
So yeah, both of us would. I would recommend the book, but if you're not,
I probably wouldn't, in all
You
honesty, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I see
think
where
it's-
you're coming from.
I think it's interesting stuff, but it was a big 400-pager. I found it a little bit dry and a bit drawn out. I like hearing about Musk.
Yeah.
I like the stuff about his character but I like the business stories. But I found some of the stories that were too detailed.
I probably agree to an extent. I highly recommend looking into Elon Musk's life.
Yep.
Like,
100%.
hugely recommend it.
100%.
And there's a lot of other medium to do that, and probably a lot more entertaining. And that's like there's some YouTube videos of I can't name any off the top of my head.
I know he did a 60 Minutes interview in the US. Have you watched that?
Yeah, no, I haven't. But anything like that.
I haven't watched it either, but
Watch that over dinner.
But I feel like that's probably not. That wouldn't be enough. It was like 6 minutes.
Yeah, just keep looking into his life and just learning what you can. But for those who really want to learn as much as possible, then the book's for them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And so what's next, man?
Well, there's a few next. I don't know what's coming up. A few ones were coming up. Crush It, Gary Vaynerchuk. The Inevitable, Kevin Kelly.
Yep. A few coming up next. Well, I think the next one's going to be Crush It. It's a bit of a step away from Elon Musk, and it's a lot in the social media world and building businesses using social media.
Okay, sick. Let's do that.
So, yeah.
Adios, Red Gyarados.
Ah!
Elon Musk!
Musk!
SpaceX, Tesla, SolarCity, Zip2, X.com, PayPal.
Take 20 million from the 1-2, put it on the 3-2 table.
Crazy motherfucker! Crazy motherfucker! Elon Musk. Let's go to Mars, yo!
Let's just build a spaceship and then fly, everybody.
Fuck you, NASA.
I'm gonna shove this spaceship up your ass, NASA.
Mate, he only pissed for 3 seconds. He's got 5 kids.
Burn that $1 billion, no more oil on electricity. Nice on shit. We fucking.
Oh shit, but we'll,
fucking